So I hope my voice is coming in clear because y'all have been begging me for the longest time to get this mic. What's going on, everyone? So I just left the theater and I saw A Quiet Place Day One. So let's get into this. This movie was published by Paramount Pictures and it's directed by Michael Sarnowski. So this movie is starring, and I hope I don't butcher her name too much, Lupita Nyong'o as Sam. Also starring Joseph Quinn as Eric. So this movie still takes place in New York, but it has a totally different vibe from the other two in the series, A Quiet Place and A Quiet Place 2. However, I do feel that this is a little better than A Quiet Place 2. Now, I gotta say, I'm all for suspending my sense of disbelief in a movie for a good storyline. But I have to say, A Quiet Place 2 definitely didn't do it for me just because it saw the kids as the protagonists saving the adults instead of the other way around. Now, if we were in a life and death scenario where we were under an alien attack, I would not be relying on kids to save my life. That's just me. However, A Quiet Place Day One is a prequel to those two movies, and we get to see how the Death Angels actually come to Earth and how they actually work. And they are practically indestructible. No earthly weapons can harm them. However, their only weakness is sound, and we don't figure that out until much later. This being an original movie, not everyone is going to know that, of course. Now, the movie starts off with talking about how loud New York is, and it goes out of its way to talk about the decibel range of New York City, which is obviously going to come into play because the Death Angels are very sensitive to sound. So, in the first hour, we're introduced to Sam's character and what her motivations are. I gotta say, in the film, her motivations did not necessarily make sense in a alien apocalypse scenario. And then much later in the film, we're introduced to Eric. Now, this may be just me, but in a alien apocalypse situation, you're not gonna wanna follow someone around just because you're afraid. Usually in these types of scenarios, you would think it's every man for himself.
Every man for himself.
Now, even though this is supposed to be a prequel to the original A Quiet Place, the film very much felt different from John Krasinski's A Quiet Place. Very much so because this is a different director. The film doesn't keep the same vibe or even the same tone as the original. You don't really feel that sense of horror or dread in this one. The only good thing I can say about this film is it does set up a few events that are supposed to take place later in the series. So although this one is better than A Quiet Place 2, this film felt very much in the middle to me. And what I mean by that is I have a rating system of 1 out of 10. This movie felt very much like a 6 to me. So I'm going to give this movie a 6 out of 10. All right, so that's going to do it for me, y'all. If you like what I'm doing here, go ahead and give me a like and a subscribe, and feel free to follow me on my social medias. And as always, I'll catch you on the next film review. Take care.